quite happy with your investment. Okay, so basically after the session last week, we actually get more question. So of course,
Okay.
you actually mentioned about tax the last round. I think you did mention about
Mm.
property tax and so on and so forth. And after that, it aroused a lot of interest. So can you tell me
Mm.
more? What are some of the tax rules that usually we are not aware of, but it's something very important when we deal with overseas properties?
Yeah, sure. I think for a start, because when we first hunt for an investment property, right? I think what attracted us is probably the property yield, and then the location, and also
Okay.
what amenities is available for the property. And of course, if we were interested, we probably will engage the financial people to discuss the mortgage facilities options, looking at the LTVs. But all these are very much for the sellers to bring us into the property. Very much very easily is they won't discuss in depth on tax laws, or tax laws is something that's very easily overlooked or ignored by both agents, by sellers, and sometimes by us. Some of the tax regulations that I will be looking at will be the inheritance levy, inheritance tax,
Okay.
the income tax from your rental yield, and the
Mm-hmm.
CGT, capital gains tax, because this
Okay.
will affect your exit strategy, and also the stamp duties. As a buyer, all these, and with countries trying to sometimes cool off the market, sometimes they will impose a certain level of stamp duties for the buyers. Yeah. So as it is, inheritance tax, because we're buying the properties for long term, and
Mm-hmm.
if we were to consider leaving a legacy for our loved ones, then inheritance tax is something that we should at least have a look at. As it is, based on what I've gathered, UK is about 40%, Japan about
Wow.
55. Yeah, it's pretty high in these
Okay.
countries.
Okay.
Uh, in other countries like Australia and Portugal, currently is capped at 0%. And
Okay.
for
Okay.
income tax for rental,
Mm.
Australia is for non-residents, for us, foreigners, is
Mm.
30%. Portugal is
Okay.
28.
Okay.
UK is very much similar to Singapore. Or
Okay.
maybe our system we follow theirs lah. Is tiered
Okay.
by the level of incomes that you can
Okay.
fetch.
Okay. Hold
And
on now. When you say
yeah,
inheritance tax, your inheritance tax, you're just saying UK 40%. That is based on selling price or based on profit?
based on the value.
Value.
Yeah,
Value of the property 40%. Wow. Okay. So
yeah.
that is huge. And you're talking about, so let's say, when someone pass on, the whole property have to change name. That's where they have to levy that 40% tax based on the value.
Yeah. Or it
Wow.
could be
Okay.
you're saying profit, is it?
No, no. So the
Oh,
inheritance tax, it's actually based
uh,
on the value of the property, correct? It's not based on the profit, huh? It's not based on the
uh
gain, right? It's actually based on the value of the property, correct?
value, but of course they have the taxable levels lah. So even if
Okay.
certain value, then they have some taxable levels, and if you exceed
Okay.
that levels, then you take that. Yeah.
Okay, understand. Okay, but in any case, actually quite okay. Sorry, I cut you just now. So you're also talking about the income tax. Yeah, you
Yeah.
also mentioned about income tax. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to continue? Yeah.
Yeah, income tax. So Australia is a straight 30% for non-residents. That means for foreign purchasers. Portugal is about 28%. UK is by tiered based on the income that you can bring in. Capital gains tax again is by tiered to the level of profits that you can earn lah. Then stamp duties when you buy. Portuguese investments, I think it's between 1 to 8%.
Mm-hmm.
UK is about 0 to 12%. Again, it's depending on the value of your property when you purchase it. Australia is uh, it varies from states to states, because Australia there's several states, but on average it's 3 to 4%. But for foreign buyers, we need to pay additional stamp duties. It's about some states will charge as much as 7% on top of the nominal range. Yeah,
Okay.
so that
Okay.
that is for these few countries lah.
Okay. So capital gain tax, so again, that is something not common in Singapore. So basically,
Hmm.
that is being leveled at the point of you exiting that property, correct?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. it will be levied upon that will affect your exit strategy. Because like for example, I think I mentioned during our last session why one of the reasons why I choose to exit from UK is because 1 year prior to the Brexit referendum, the UK government has started the imposing CGT on foreign purchasers. So for me is from the time I buy until the year that I decided to let go, I have already attained certain good level of appreciation. So I thought before, if I hold on longer, and then the CGT is gonna just build on from there. So that I decided to get out.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Also, definitely for those who are considering overseas property investment, when I hear people talk about overseas, they always talk about return, but a lot actually didn't consider about the tax portion, which, as Kenny has mentioned, can be quite hefty. You are talking about the inheritance tax, 40%. It can basically wipe out most everything. Okay, also tax is something very important. Once again, for those who just joined us, welcome. Me and Kenny has actually been chatting about overseas investment. So if you can, if you think it's useful, please help to share with your friends so that more can actually benefit from our conversation here. Now, Kenny, we actually spoken about tax. Of course, the other thing that probably we are less aware of is the regulations. Can you highlight some of the regulations that we definitely should take note of before we go into a property investment?
Okay. Again, because big ticket items like property, I think it warrants us to be more careful, more cautious. So before we make a decision to buy, I think we also need to know that region or that city that you're buying, that area that you're buying into. What is the development plans for that neighborhood? Is that area going to be developed into a commercial area, or it's going to be solely for residential, or is it going to be developed into an educational hub, or is it going to be industrial? Then your strategies would probably adjust accordingly to that. So this probably will be known through the planning approvals for the local governments of that city. Yeah, and the other thing is especially for foreigners, is there any restrictions to the foreign purchaser selling back in the secondary market? Because there are certain countries that has restrictions. For example, they only allow foreign purchasers to buy new properties or vacant land, which then implies that your property, after you have bought it, it becomes a pre-owned. So when you want to sell it, you can't sell it to another foreigner because it's regulated in such manner.
Yes,
so you can only sell it to the locals. Then you're going to consider, if I were to sell to the locals, can I do it? Can I turn the property fast enough? I mean, sometimes I might need cash to shift it to other investments. So these are the things that might affect your exit strategy, and I think we should spend some time at least to gather more information in these areas.
Thank you so much. So personally, I've also heard about stories about the tax laws, like in certain countries, especially when the contract is not in English,
Oh, yes.
and the contract is actually in the local language, like for example, Vietnam, Cambodia, or even like Thailand. So the way they actually craft the ownership is actually a bit unique. So end of the day, we may be buying something, and yet we may not really truly own that piece of property.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Now, of course, by the way, for those who are actually watching, if you have any questions, feel free to type in under the Facebook page comments so that we can actually ask Kenny immediately. Yeah. Okay. Now, of course, we are talking about you have tax issue, you have a lot of regulation issues. How should we go about, to make sure all these issues are properly covered? End of the day, I'm an investor. I just want money. I don't want to get into any problem with the regulators. Yeah.
Yeah, I think very simply is, I think whether it's before or during the purchasing process or even after, I think it's good to probably engage someone who is familiar with the regulations. be it a tax accountant or someone with the knowledge of the subject matter, then that you can consult with. At least you're make known of what you are entering into. Some like what you say. I mean, as investors, at the end of the day, we are looking at profits, how much you can get out of the investments, and some areas that we can look into optimizing our profits could be the tax savings, avenues of tax savings. For example, your expenses relating to the maintenance and upgrading, value adding of your property. In some countries or in some cities, they are tax deductible. So these are the areas that no one can, if you don't know how to go around doing it, but at least there'll be some professionals who will be willing to help you to at least maximize your profits, or at least minimize your cash outflow, be it through taxation by the governments or whatever not. And yeah, so this is one area. So we should, I think, as much as it is, we should seek some professional help in that area.
Thank you so much. So again, in my own experience, when I was working for Phillip Capital and of course CapitaLand, especially for Phillip Capital, I was actually dealing with Japan. The professionals are very expensive. The fees can be
Yes.
like 1%, 2%, even 3% of the price. Very expensive, but trust me, it's worth it. These are the money you cannot save. These are the money you cannot save because you can really get into a lot of trouble. And of course, like what you mentioned, some of these consultants can also give a good advice in terms of like the
Yes.
tax savings. And of course, all these are legal. Of course,
Yeah.
all these are legal overboard. You can actually tax deductible.
Yes.
You
Yes. Of
definitely
course.
need to depend on them to actually advise you. But the question here is this: if let's say, for example, I just want to buy. How do I go about go look for all these consultants? Where do I go look for them?
I think for a start, I think probably can seek out those who have done it before, and then probably they'll be able to point to you, or at least link you up with the required professionals that could help you with your inquiries. That's one way of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I think especially for overseas case, it's very important. Will be tough if you just go in like that point blank, or just speak to an agent in Singapore. You still need to have a network of professionals to help you,
Yes.
and of course, it's important to find good people, as I understand, and that's why I think for overseas investment, it's probably something that you have to go along with someone who have done it before. Then you have a better idea how to do it. Okay, thank you so much, Kenny. Again, we actually learned quite a bit of things from you. I don't see any questions coming in. I don't know. Any other last advice before I let you go? Any other last advice? With
Okay,
regards to
that's
tax and
maybe one
regulations, yeah.
thing that, yeah, maybe one thing that I'd like to share. I think a lot of agents and developers, when they launch their projects, right? One way to entice the investor is they will give sometimes 1 year, sometimes 2 years rental guarantee,
Okay.
be it 5%, 8%, whatever. But many times, I think we ought to know that developers sometimes they already work out the selling price and included the rental guarantees given to
Okay.
you. So at the end of the day, it's
Uh,
more of a rebate back to you of what you put in the first place.
okay.
Yeah, and you gotta be mindful that yes, you're getting a rental guarantee, but it also means that your cash outlay at the forefront is higher because the selling price is being sort of marked up. That
Okay.
also affect your stamp duty. And
Okay.
for certain countries where they charge a VAT,
Uh-huh.
which is equivalent to our GST,
Okay.
that could be quite substantial. So all these are unnecessary costs. So I mean, it's good to know. It's good to at least understand what you're getting into and all that.
Okay. So in Chinese, it's called 羊毛出在羊身上. Oh, how to translate in English? So the
I don't know.
sheep's. Anyway, Okay. Thank you so much, Kenny. So
Yeah.
I learned something from you. So good to chat with you again. I see you around. Thank you so much. And of course,
Thank you, Emin.
thank you for those who have think that is useful. Please help us to share. Hopefully, more people can learn from all this information. Okay. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye for
All right.
now.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.